Hi, beautiful souls. This is Ashoo here, and welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about raising your vibrational frequency. I have been going through my awakening journey for the past over 20 years, and I like to focus on this channel on things that are very authentic, that could help you to connect with your core self and co create your dreams, goals, hopes, and desires in the ways that are correct, that are authentic, that are closest to the energy of your heart frequency that vibrates at the higher frequencies of unconditional love, compassion, joy, laughter, and those things that we are meant to experience in this lifetime. So, in today's video, I would like to first express my gratitude to my growing subscribers. And if you're new on my channel, I welcome you. And if you have not subscribed yet, do subscribe to my channel if you want to stay updated with more videos on tips, techniques, tools, and ways you could uplift your energy no matter where you are in your journey of evolution in the present moment. Yes, so today's video is going to be about what I realized about energy and energetic codes during my awakening journey. So let's get started with today's video. While I was going through my awakening journey, it was all about learning that how I was perceiving my uh, role, my identification in relationship to anything I was doing in my life. I was perceiving it in a very three-dimensional way, in the way I would start my day, uh, the events that would trigger either a response or reaction in me. I was looking at the storytelling related to that event. So, but as I awakened through my Kundalini Awakening process, I realized that everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. Everything is made up of energetic codes, whether that is as simple as our breath, how we breathe in and breathe out. There are various frequencies at which our breath is also operating. That is why we say, like, slow exhalation helps to relax your mind. It puts you into a parasympathetic nervous system. It relaxes and allows your vagus nerve to send signals. The two-way interaction between your brain and body, that everything is fine, you're relaxed, your organs can function in the optimal way, and you can have good health and happiness. So everything boils down to managing our stress. Everything boils down to awakening to our core strengths of identifying that our nervous system is made for joyful experiences, because it is only when we start giving ourselves the joyful experiences our nervous system thrives. It learns how to come out of the surviving mode. The surviving mode is our stressful auto mode on which nature has put us, because unless we learn to get past our survival mode, we're not going to learn how to thrive, how to grow spiritually, how to take charge of the things that are disturbing us and manage them. So everything boils down to learning a good set of stress management techniques. But before we learn the stress management techniques, we have to understand that how we are, what kind of stress management skills are we using. Let's say you're getting disturbed by something and you have learned a stress management technique of breathing in and breathing out, which is a very high frequency stress management technique, because you're learning to start connecting with your breath, and breath is your highest potential for bringing a shift in the present moment. So, what I learned in my awakening journey is that staying in the present moment connecting with your breath is of very high frequency nature. No matter what story is going in your life, what events are happening in your life, what identifications your mind is attaching to those events, whether it is a positive identification or whether it is a neutral way of responding or whether it is a negative identification. So when I'm saying it's a positive identification means like your attachment, how you attach yourself to certain event in your life. If your attachment system is like getting good feeling from that, you'll feel very excited, very happy about that person, event that is happening in your life, right? But if you are not gaining fulfillment from that event, that tends to make you depressed, sad, bored. So your frequency is not very good related to that event. So your attachment system with that event is not very operate vibrating on a high frequency. And sometimes like you're like not very concerned, so you're calm and then you're in a very neutral state. But here comes the thing that when you start mapping your energy, when you start realizing that you're nothing more than energetic codes which are vibrating at different frequencies, it starts shifting your stories as well. So I realized that when we get up in the morning and we start our day from a perspective, it's all about a shift of perspective. Once your perspective shifts into a higher vibrational frequency, you start seeing and sensing and feeling all the events and stories that you were identifying with earlier on from a holistic perspective, from a higher perspective, because it's like your energy is rising to your higher chakras or energy centers, or your perspective is shifting. It is like you are realizing certain things about yourself, about your life, about your beliefs, about your responses, about your reactions to different things in your life. So I realized that everything is energy, and that really shifted my entire perspective to different things in my life. So it shifts the perspective for your wellness, for your well-being. So you start learning more about yourself, about your belief systems, what is at the root of your behavior. So that kind of understanding starts happening. That means you start expanding your awareness. So there are many codes that are stored into our energetic system, including our body, our mind. Our mind is our beliefs, and our body is how our body feels when we are vibrating. Our beliefs are vibrating to certain frequency. It makes us feel the sensations related to that person, to that event. So once you start identifying the things that are causing stress in your life, and you understand that underlying your stress is an energetic pattern which is not in your conscious awareness. So more than 80 to 90% of our behaviors and beliefs are based upon the codes which are of subconscious nature, which are beneath the layer of our current present moment awareness. So for example, um, I would say that we are the habitual creatures. So we operate in very habituated ways. That is what conditioning is all about. We operate from our conditioned responses. That is what a habit is, our conditioned response or our conditioned reaction to something. It could be positive, it could be negative, or it could be neutral. So We are having those codes, negative, positive, neutral, all the time, throughout the day in our lives. So when you start identifying the frequency of your habits, whether it is a high frequency or it is not so high frequency, that is a starting point that you can start touching and kind of scraping the surface of your belief system, which is not of very high frequency. For example, reaction. Reaction of what type? Reaction of feeling not so good when someone says something, some words, some vocabulary that really touches your heart, and it evokes an emotional cycle that brings your frequency or energy down. It happens with all of us, right? Somebody you love or you value says something which makes you feel not appreciated. What happens instantly? Your energy level goes down because what is happening beneath the layer of your awareness is that something you were expecting from that person that didn't get met. Okay, so it didn't meet your expectations. So as simple as that. But usually what happens when our expectation is not met, there are different ways different human beings respond or react. So we are made up of energetic codes, and there's no way you can go back to start looking through a lens that is more dominated by the density of your storytelling. And it is such a freedom, it is such a liberation, it is such an awakening that frees you, that frees your body, or frees your mind, frees your spirit. And you understand that there is a bigger dimension, there is a higher force field that is operating through this universe, that is controlling everything. So, this is a big, big awakening that helps you to understand that how our ego mind is always filtering and sifting and sieving the information through the identification of an ego that wants to achieve, that wants to be somebody, that wants to be something. So it doesn't mean that you don't want to do things. It just means that your identification part, how your subconscious layers have been conditioned to perceive and identify the things, and that defines your way of reacting and responding. And accumulation of stress or relaxation is dominated by those codes of energy. So it's a breakdown starts happening of all that coding, which is a very tiresome process for the people who are going through their awakening journey, because it is through these breakdown of codes that the new codes are co-created. And I would say co-created because now you understand the process of co-creation, that how the universe operates and how you are co-creator in the light of the same universal energy. You can see that we can see that we are the light beings, and we are the divine beings, and we have all the capacities and potentialities to co-create in collaboration with the higher force field that is operating through this universe, and come into connection with that force field. But to come into connection with that higher energy, that higher force field, what are the conditions that we need to connect with? First of all, we need to identify our ego nature, our structured small ego nature. How, when we are operating from our structured, conditioned ego nature, we are becoming angry, we are judging, we are not giving unconditionally. Our heart center is attached to people in our lives based upon some conditions and expectations, which are kind of contracting our energetic system. So when we grow spiritually, when we evolve, we are learning to come into communion, come into harmony with a higher force field and the lighter energy bodies, from where we are learning to give away all those expectations which have a potential to pull us down, to pull our vibrational frequencies down. So, this energetic truth is something that I wanted to share with you, that all our stresses, if you really want to cut down your stress levels, it's very important that you start paying attention to your reactions and responses from the energetic filter. Once you apply the energetic filter, it will help you to expand your levels of awareness. And we are meant to expand our level of awareness because that is where our evolution happens, and where we grow, and where we begin to focus on our energetic system and stop projecting anything on the outer circumstances or people. So take charge of your energy today. Start identifying your energy codes. Where are you feeling stressed in your life? Where are you feeling good in your life? And try to map your energy codes and expand your awareness, counter your stress levels, give your nervous system some joyful moments of being in the present moment. Because when you're overthinking, overanalyzing, you're overjudging, and you are in your survival mode, you cannot send signals to your body, mind, and spirit that everything is well in your life, and that stops you from gaining optimal health and happiness. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Keep laughing, smiling, dancing to the beat of your life, and sow some seeds of joy in it today by taking a deep breath in and laugh off your stresses.